From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I know I left you for a little bit, but I was in Dallas, Texas last week for the biggest fight ever on U.S. soil. 73,000 people showed up to Jerry's World, and I was there. I was in the press box. I was on the floor. I was everywhere. And I also got some awesome interviews on YouTube right now. Go to Fanatics View, and you guys can catch my exclusive with Edgar Belanga, my Mark Castro, Kieran Conway, also the great Carl Froch as well, too. So you guys go over and check that stuff out. But let's go ahead and talk about the fight. Canelo goes ahead and breaks a U.S. attendance record at Jerry's World and breaks Billy Joe Saunders' eye socket at the same time, too, to win the fight in the 8th round. Man, a lot of people ask me, what did I feel with the fight? I felt that it would be a Canelo win late, maybe 8th, 9th, 10th round, because, you know, Canelo has this thing where he has decision, then the next fight's a knockout, then a decision, then it's a knockout, and this time the knockout was up. Billy Joe Saunders really asked for that as well, too. But breaking his eye socket, a lot of people felt Billy Joe Saunders quit. But if you can't see, you can't fight. So why go there and keep getting pummeled if you know you can't see? So Canelo gets the big win. He breaks his eye socket as well, too. If you caught the punch, it was an uppercut with Billy Joe trying to duck and dodge and stay away from a punch. He was really slick. He had his moments and everything like that. But you guys didn't catch that small dent that was in his forehead? That meant that his eye socket is literally like in his eye, is in his almost to his skull. So pretty much for everybody who said that he quit, you guys probably have never had that injury before, so you know nothing about that. So Canelo showed how powerful he was, and he showed how, magnifying he is as well, too, bringing out 73,000 people to a monster event. I think that it was absolutely incredible, and I look forward to the next big Canelo fight as well, too, because this guy does pay the bills, does have the skills to pay the bills, and it's been like that for some time. And yes, he is the king of boxing for now. I'm telling you right now, if you're not fighting Canelo, then pretty much you better start getting really good to fight Canelo as well, too. And I also want to send a big shout out to Frank Sanchez, Elwin Soto, and Mr. Takayama for rocking 100X coin as well, too. That was a brand that was brought to that I was able to do a partnership with our dear friend Mike Abadir as well, too, and some of his partners over there. So I want to send a big shout out to 100X Coin for coming through and everything like that for the boxers. They were very appreciative for that as well, too. So, I'm working like 2 gigs behind the scene, but I just want to go ahead and show them some love as well, too, before we move on to our next segment. Now, let's get into some LA football real quick. We got the Rams right now getting a lot of hype. Early betting odds have the Rams in third, right, or the third best odds going right now. I think there's a lot of hype behind Matt Stafford. I'm still trying to ask, did they add some type of breakout receiver of some sort? Because did Calvin Johnson come out of retirement? Because I still don't trust Matt Stafford. I don't care what anybody says, dude. He played on a losing team. And look, let me give you a great example, because we're going to talk about it in a little bit in a moment. The Lakers invested in Andre Drummond, and you see what he's doing. They're putting out 3-minute highlight tapes of his worst ever turnovers, dude, and it was like a lot of them. So pretty much, if we did this with Matt Stafford and showed all the picks and all the 3rd and 1s that he's failed on in the last 10 years of his career, then he'll probably have a 20-minute tape of all that, because That just seems like it's been the case. It was the case with the Detroit Lions. You always blame the play calling, but if you got the same guy running into the same scenario every single time, it might just be him. You know what I mean? So pretty much I believe in what the Rams are doing on the defensive end of things. I just think that they're gambling way too hard on an old Stafford when they had a controlled quarterback in Goff. If Goff wasn't to be good this season, that's when you move on. But you don't move on from a guy who was in the Super Bowl. Yes, Ty Gurley gets a lot of props, but I always have to go back to the game that I was at watching Jared Goff live, the greatest offensive game you'll ever see in your life. And the guy was cooler than the other side of the pillow. He got his guys the victory that day. He's shown that he can come back in games and get you a big win as well, too. He can't make up for the mishaps that happen on special teams and on defense, and even on his side of the ball as well, too. If the blocking's off that day, if the defense is having some good pressure and things of that nature. So, a lot of people put way too much pressure on Jared Goff, and it was not deserved at all. So pretty much that's my 2 cents on that. But the Rams defense is going to come back better than ever. Aaron Donald's going to be still an elite defensive lineman coming into this season. And, it's going to be a beauty to watch because Aaron Donald is he's a magnificent player, to be dead honest with you, man. And I really enjoy watching him play on Sundays. Like, if you're a defensive guy like I was when I was playing football, you really love to watch the defensive side of the ball, and that guy really goes ahead and he does his thing, man. And I'm telling you right now, he is the key to everything for the Rams at the end of the day. And if, Matt Stafford can just go ahead and manage and actually get some good play calling going, I think he should do fairly well. But you know what? The writing's already on the wall. So when you guys start seeing mistakes and mishaps and things like that, just know Pop told you what the deal was before we walked into this situation. But the LA Rams should be all right. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to have to really, really make sure they take it one game at a time. And I'm just talking to the fans as well, too. Don't get your expectations too high because you have a guy who has a bad back, bad wrist, a lot of things going on medically as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we'll move forward. And let's go ahead and talk about the Knicks delivering that huge win yesterday against the Clippers. The Knicks win 106-100 as a 7.5-point dog and about a plus 260 on the money line as well yesterday. The Knicks did their thing. They went out there and played some great defense. We all know Julius Randle still loves playing in Los Angeles as well, too, even though he was kind of disregarded by the Lakers. But you know what? At the end of the day, if you keep Randle, you didn't get LeBron. But you're getting LeBron-type gameplay out of Randle in New York. So really, you could have stayed with the younger guy in a sense because now we got LeBron hurt. But you know what you get in that exchange? You get yourself a championship. But as people said before, this championship was on a circumstance as well, too. So it's not seen like the rest of the NBA championships that were actually earned through, real home court advantage or road games, things of that nature. But, as a Laker fan, I'll take it. We ain't got no arguments here, but the Knicks are back. The Knicks are the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. This is the best thing for basketball this season, that the New York Knicks are a very good team. And if the New York Knicks are able to advance, say, to the second round, if everything holds the way it's supposed to hold, the Knicks would face off with the Nets. And I think the Knicks could be the biggest issue for the Nets moving forward because they play great defense. Tom Thibodeau is doing a great job with this team. Obi Toppin is playing much better now, getting adjusted to the league. They're getting a lot from Reggie Bullock as well, too, from the three-point line. And then at the end of the day, they got former MVP Derrick Rose, and that actually gives them the big vet that you need. I mean, the vet that has that experience, has been on that level of being an elite player, and he knows how to spread that wisdom to these young boys and get them in gear and get them right to where they need to be at as a team. I'm so proud of the New York Knicks. I know that they're buzzing over there at the Garden right now in Midtown Manhattan, and it's going to be fun. Hopefully the Knicks will be able to get full capacity by the time they get to the playoffs, because once they do, they can make a big run in this playoff. I know it sounds crazy today, but let's just see how it looks in a month, okay? So with that, let's go ahead and check out our buddies over at hatclub.com. You guys can go ahead and get yourself 10% off on any $50 order or better with my promo code that's sitting in the show description. Once again, go get that drip over at hatclub.com. And with that, I will be right back. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube. Seriously. All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And our next segment is going to be brought to you by Paramount Plus. So let's go ahead and get to it. Blue Crew Daily. Oh, God. I got to talk about the Dodgers. And it's almost like it's when you play baseball, you know how it goes, man. Baseball is a streaky sport. And you know what? I'm not worried about a team first 6 weeks in. 18-17 ain't too bad, all right? Because most other teams are not running away with this thing either. We are in a very competitive situation in baseball this year, especially early in the season. You have to understand, bad teams don't know that they're bad teams yet, and good teams don't know that they're good teams yet. The Dodgers, though, have expectations. So that's why I understand the Dodgers have everybody like, wow, what's the problem? No, there is no real problem. What happens here is the Dodgers – top players, a lot of guys that are very instrumental to getting this team over the top are hurt right now. They're in the same situation that the Lakers are. No Cody Bellinger means that you're taking out a guy that hits at least 3 to 4 home runs a week, gets in about 10, 15 RBIs a week if he's, having an average Cody Bellinger week. And that's extras. That's extra runs. That's extra motivation. And that gets guys going. The Dodgers are now getting used to not having a Kiki Hernandez, a guy that is always consistent, that can get the whole group going when he gets going. You have an old Justin Turner that I felt like the Dodgers might have, were being a little bit too nice about bringing back, because I love Justin Turner, but there were so many more options at the third base position during the offseason, but the Dodgers passed up on that to keep Justin Turner, who is a great hitter, or was a great hitter, but he might be a little bit over his expiration date a little bit in the MLB, in my opinion. But he's still a great leader out there as well, too. The Dodgers are just now mixing their youthful players in with the vets that are still left over from like the last 4 or 5 seasons of the Dodgers' big success that they've had under Dave Roberts. So you guys have to understand this is a transitioning team as well, too. Guys like Edwin Rios will be starting to be more and more in the lineup if they're not traded for another type of big-time player or something of that situation. You got Tinsky, who's a very good player, just went on the IR as well, too. He's kind of like the Kike replacement. So at the end of the day, they go into a situation with the Angels where it's a big rivalry. And The Angels came with it all this weekend, and there's nothing you can do about it. People were so mad that people were like, well, you got Jared Bauer and you got this, and you even heard me say this might be the greatest pitching rotation to ever walk the earth. And when we start talking like this, it always gets thrown back in our face in the early phases of it. But when I say this, that they could be the best starting rotation of all time, I don't want them to be the greatest starting rotation in April and May. I want them to be the best starting rotation in fall. When it counts, when it's time to get the money, when it's time to go ahead and win that championship. And I think by the time the Dodgers have everything put together, they'll still be the best team in all of baseball, and they'll be fighting pretty hard to get to a World Series, but they should be able to return to the World Series. This is what you need to build a great season. You need a little bit of adversity. You don't want to be the horse that's running out in front of the pack 30 lengths and getting tired once you get down the stretch, because you're going to wind up, destroying your whole season. And the Dodgers aren't that type of team. Keep the pace. And when we get to the stretch, that's when it's time to explode. So that's my 2 cents on the Dodgers right there. That's Blue Crew Daily for you. Dodgers do have a game tomorrow against the Mariners at the Ravine. So if you guys are able to go get tickets, go ahead and get some and go enjoy the game. We got Walker Buehler on the mound as well, too. He'll be going against Minkic or some new pitcher, but it was great. I was actually at the Rangers game Friday night as well, too. Beautiful ballpark there, Global Life Park, where the Dodgers won their World Series at. So you guys, if you're ever in Texas, go to Arlington, go catch a Rangers game if they're in town, and you guys will enjoy it. There wasn't one bad seat in the house, and I wound up being on the lower level, right almost next to the dugout, and we were like literally looking right at the outfielder in a very fun spot. So you guys check it on out, and there it is. That's the Blue Crew Daily for you. All right, so we move on, and let's go ahead and get into some games. We got the Reds at the Pirates. Good divisional game here. You got the Reds coming into the game as a minus 155 on the spread. Then you got the Pirates, as usual, as your dog, because the Pirates are not a respected team. That's just that simple. A lot of people do not respect the Pirates, even though the Pirates are not that bad on the record from what you would expect. They're 14-19 on the season. They have Mitch Keller on the mound, who's he has a high ERA, 24 strikeouts over 15 walks. And then you got Tyler Mahle, who's a pretty good pitcher for the Reds, but he's kind of even here. And he has 41 Ks over 11 walks. So he's pretty decent, and he can take advantage of the 22nd best batting team in the league, which is the Pirates. So I like where we're going here. You have a Reds team that's 2-2 in their last 4, and then you have a Pirates team that's dropped their last 3 out of 5, but did get a nice win over the Cubbies at Wrigley yesterday. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next game. It's going to be the Red Sox at the Orioles. The Red Sox are actually in a good position. We got this is a good division rivalry as well, too. You have the Red Sox coming into this game 22-13, sitting pretty atop of the AL East this year as well, too. And actually, they're the number 1 team in the AL as well, too. And when I look at it, they're actually the number 1 team in all of baseball. So they're doing pretty good for themselves. So pretty much the Red Sox are back. They had a bad season last season, but they're looking good this year. You got the Orioles, who are playing exactly as I assumed this season. The Orioles are very middling at best, if not mediocre at this time. You got on the mound tonight, though, you got Martin Perez, who's a so-so pitcher. He's a guy that can be hit. He's 28 strikeouts over 11 walks right now. 0-2 on the season, though. So he's the guy that comes in, gives up runs, but probably doesn't get any run support. So that's what you have to emphasize as well, too. But then you have Jorge Lopez going for the Orioles, who's not really having that great of a season either, but with the 6.49 ERA, and he's 25 strikeouts over 11 walks. So he's striking guys out, but he's walking guys as well, too. His WHIP is 1.37. So, this game looks like it could be an over game, but this looks like the game that the Red Sox can get Martin Perez's first win of the season. So I like what I see here. Red Sox at the Orioles. Let's go ahead and move on, and let's talk about the Padres at the Rockies. This is another divisional game between NL West rivals, and the Padres coming into this game Padres were the talk of the town pretty much. And actually, you know what? Let's take that back. We're going to scratch this game right here. We'll move on to our next one. I'm just receiving word right now that the Padres and Rockies game has been postponed. So we expect a double hitter with that one tomorrow. Well, but with this one, we got the interleague game and we got the Rangers, who I was just talking about. The Rangers coming in here plus 125 and the Giants are minus 150 tonight. This game right here presents to me a game where you can call for the over in this spot. You got a hot hitting Rangers team who scored 10 runs yesterday, and they're coming into San Francisco today. So you got a Giants team that's, believe it or not, the number one team in the NL West right now. So Dodgers, wake up. You were worried about the Padres, but don't ever forget about the boys from Harlem. The old New York Giants, your old rival there, because the Giants, you have some say when it comes to ULA. So pretty much this should be a good game tonight, over 7.5. But looks pretty low to me, looks pretty hittable to me. It looks like it could be the spot right here. So we'll see how this one shakes out, see how it goes. But this should be another really good game tonight. And I do like this matchup a lot as well, too. So with that, let's go ahead and check out Paramount Plus. You guys can go ahead and watch all the great shows on Paramount Plus, all the great movies as well too. So, Paramount has a lot of the classics that we all grew up on. So give it a chance. They got some good prices as well too for it. Use the promo code VSX and then go ahead and reap the benefits. All right. So with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, so here we are. We are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And if you guys like the shirt that I'm wearing, Prime Wave Media, you guys will be able to purchase these in about the next week or two. I'm going to set these up in the shop for you guys to go ahead and start ordering everything like that. Also, if you saw the cool black one that I had on Saturday night at the fight, pretty much we'll have that one on for sale for you guys as well too. So you guys go ahead and check that out, and make sure you're going over to primewavemedia.net. You guys can check out my articles. You guys can become exclusive clients as well too, and you guys can read my bio and see exactly who I am there as well too, and just know that pretty much there's a lot going on in the world of DiBiase. So pretty much let's go ahead and get to it. Let's talk about the player of the night last night, and it's none other than Mr. Anthony Davis. The real AD finally stood up last night. I know he dropped 36 on the Blazers, but we didn't win the game. But he comes back around. He drops 42 points. Lakers go ahead and get a good win over a team that was expected to whoop up on them. And funny thing is, the Lakers were an 8-point dog last night as well, too. I could never give the Phoenix Suns that many points against the Los Angeles Lakers. It doesn't matter if they wouldn't have AD or LeBron, because the Suns aren't as good as they look win-wise. They're a good team, but they're really supposed to be a 7 seed. They're kind of playing out of their mind. The schedule has kind of favored them in a sense, and that's why they are where they are. But let me stick to AD. AD was taking a lot of bumps and bruises last night, but he just kept pushing forward, having himself a great game last night. He was looking for the contact. He was making guys actually defend him, and he wasn't leaving things short. He wasn't sitting there waiting on Drummond to do what he wants to do, what he need to do, and all that stuff. AD took over and took the lead, and this is what we've been asking AD to do when no LeBron is on the court. You need to be a bigger leader. If Kobe's the guy that you looked up to, you need to start watching some Kobe tapes and realizing what the leadership aspect of the Lakers all means. Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You need to get into this stuff, AD, so then you can start being more of a participant when we're without the great LeBron James. Now, LeBron will be back tomorrow. That's going to be great. But we have AD here, and I think AD has woken up. And with AD waking up, and if you can get LeBron back to just 90%, then the league is in trouble. It doesn't even matter if the Lakers get a play-in, because you don't want to be the 2 seed, and you won't want to be the 1 seed when the Lakers get done with what they're doing, okay? Now, what we have here, state of the Lakers, we have some good things going, and we have some guys that we need to will have to understand, and fans will have to understand, they might not be getting as much playoff time as they've been getting regular season time. I would say that we're saving Marc Gasol for the long haul of the playoffs. That's why we don't play him every night. And I know why the Lakers are doing this, because they want to save him for the winning situations where we have to really win the game. Andre Drummond is going to have to understand that he's probably not going to be playing as much as he would expect in a playoff situation. I think he's probably going to be getting 20 to 25 minutes a night. So, we try to get as much out of him as we can so he can get to know the system a little bit better. But at the end of the day, we know that we're going to have to gauge the situation exactly like we did last year in the playoffs when we had Howard and McGee, and those guys were actually sitting out most of the game. So we're going to need more effort from Markieff Morris, who's been very off as of late. And then we're going to need Trez. Trez is huge. Trez is big. He has a big game, James Worthy aspect to him where, yeah, he's not the superstar of the team, but when he gets his points, they're vital points because he's always inside, he's always fighting, he's always scraping, and he's always trying to make something happen. So Hero is going to have to be a big, big piece to the playoff puzzle for the Lakers this year. See, we have to get our minds set for that moment now. We're in a regular season still, but we have to get our mind set ready for the playoffs. And I feel like there's certain guys that have to step up in this playoff situation. Number one guy in that situation is Kyle Kuzma. Now he's finally cut that blonde goatee lock, whatever he was doing off of his head, and now he has a regular haircut again. So we should expect Kyle Kuzma to be back to being Kyle Kuzma. But Kyle Kuzma, stop playing with your head so much, bro. You got to focus in on being a basketball player and not an LA celebrity. And we've been catching this a lot. We gave a lot to keep you. We could have kept Ingram. We could have kept Zoe, but we kept you. So you need to really be more into your position, bro. And I know you probably you not watch the show, but I know a lot of Laker Nation does. And y'all can feel me on this one. We got to get this guy back into being the guy that was at this Las Vegas Summer League a few years ago, helping us win a championship. We can't have this celebrity, I show up when LeBron and AD are out here, guy running up and down the court. He's going to have to be a vital piece to the playoff puzzle as well, too. And I think that the Lakers should be fine. Schroeder will be back very soon if they don't hold him out until the playoffs. So the Lakers are on the up and up. They got the Knicks coming in. They'll probably be able to get a good win against the Knicks tomorrow as well, too. So we'll see how that one shakes out. We'll see how it goes, and we'll just move forward from there. Let's go ahead and get into the NBA preview. We got the Wizards and Hawks up first. Wizards and Hawks actually opened up the Hawks opened up as a 7.5-point favorite, but it's been bet down to 6. But let me give you guys an update that Bradley Beal is not playing in this game tonight. So you guys have to be ready for Bradley Beal and crew to be, out of this game, out of this situation as well. So, but they are playing for that playing spot. So I don't expect them to lay down. You know what I mean? They don't have to lay down at all. So the thing is, we have a good group going here, and I feel like what we can do here is pretty much scoreboard watch and get ourselves into a good mood. We move on. Let's go ahead and talk about the Pelicans at the Grizzlies. The Pelicans coming in here as a 9-point favorite, over under 228, 226, and at 228.5. It's been dropped down to 226.5. Reason being, a lot of people are probably going to be chasing the under tonight because you have the Zion out effect. And I think that's dangerous. It's a dangerous precedent that you set in this game because the Grizzlies are not that much better than the Pelicans. They aren't 9 points better than them. So I think that you really would have to ride with the Pelicans tonight because this team is still trying to build on things. And you got guys on this team that are young that are going to be in the free agent pool this year, and they're not coming back to New Orleans. So they're still trying to make sure they look good and have some, some good scouting done and some good film, so then they can go ahead and catch a monster contract on a team that wants their services. So Grizzlies Pelicans should be a decent game tonight. We'll see how it shakes out, see how it goes. We'll go from there. Then we have the Bucks at the Spurs. The Bucks at the Spurs interleague game tonight. East versus West. Spurs coming in here 7-point dog at the house, over under 233.5. This game should probably get bet down to about a 6.5 to a 6 because the Spurs are not as bad as it looks on paper. So I think they'll have a good chance in this game. I think it's going to wind up being a really, really fun game to be exact. So we'll see how this one goes. Bucks at the Spurs, and we move from there. Let's go ahead and talk about the Jazz at the Warriors. The Jazz coming in here a little bit of a favorite here. They're at 2.5 right now. When the line opened, it was +3. I do like the Warriors today as my dog of the day. They are chasing that AC right now, and they are looking good. And, Steph Curry's playing out of his mind, so why not? Let me go ahead and get the +130 on the Warriors tonight. Let's see how it shakes out, see how it goes. We move forward. Rockets at Blazers. This game right here is a tricky one. Yeah, the Blazers are a game ahead of the Lakers. But if they overlook this team, Houston, tonight, they can wind up losing. Houston got a good win over a very good team last week. The Bucks, I think. So pretty much tonight, I think that they'll have their A game on. I think that the Blazers are going to kind of be a little lackadaisical in this one. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. It's a big spread in this game as well, too. So, +15 on a home team. That's good to start with. But over under 237.5, which you're asking these teams to do, you're asking them to just go ahead and just have an all-out, just non-defensive game. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But let's see how it shakes out, see how it goes. That's going to be the Rockets at the Blazers. And with that, we will be right back. But first, check out FuboTV. FuboTV has a free 7-day on me in the show description. You guys can go ahead and press that link, and you guys will get yourself 7 days free with FuboTV, live TV and sports, and you guys will enjoy. Cut the cord, as they say. You'll be able to pay $55 a month, no credit check, and when you're ready to let Fubo go, there will be there won't be a bill after the fact. It will just be done with, okay? So pretty much with that, we will be right back. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And let's go ahead and get into Talkin Tickets. And today I only got to pick for the MLB. They only have 6 games today. One of them got canceled, so now that means 5. So pretty much we're going to take the over 7.5 with the Reds and Pirates today. We're also going to go with the value here with the -1.5 on the Red Sox, and then we have the under 9.5 on the Padres and the Rockies. Then we close it up with the Giants money line -150. All right, let's move on to the NBA Super High Five. In the NBA Super High Five, we have ourselves the under 236.5 with the Wizards and the Hawks, and then we also have the +9 on the Pelicans, and then we're doing the over 233.5 with the Bucks and the Spurs, and then the +15 on the Rockets tonight as well. And then we're going to finish up with the Warriors money line at +130. And as I said before, you guys can go ahead and make all these bets over at UWager, where the world bets at. You guys can go ahead and put in my promo code VSXPOP. Once again, that's UWager, where the world bets at, and we will go ahead and facilitate your betting needs with a 50% match deposit. And so if you go ahead and put up 200, they'll match it with 100 with the free play, and then you can go ahead and start your sports betting journey from there. All right, so with that, this will be a wrap on today's show. I'll be back tomorrow with Jeff Dawson, the Don of Cape Cod, the man over at East Coast Sports Investors, my good buddy. And so pretty much you guys make sure to tune in for that so we can go ahead and break down the latest current events in the sports world, and then also talk some tickets and talk some baseball as well too. So make sure you guys tune in at the same time, noon Pacific time, and we run for almost an hour, no more than that, unless Mike's on the show, but it's all good. So pretty much it is what it is. At the end of the day, always bet with your head, not with your heart. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, man. It's good to be back home. It's good to be resting in your own bed and, not being too obligated to do things right away as you get back. But you guys have a blast today. Win the day, as my man Doug O'Neill always says. So pretty much you guys been great. Make sure you guys are following the movement, because it is moving, all right? So with that, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, hosted by the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.